Hello everyone, welcome to Gagan's virtual classroom. Today we'll discuss a very short and a beautiful poem, The Snake Trying by W.W.E. Ross. This poem is in class 9's NCERT book Beehive. एंड आगे बढ़ने से पहले आपको बता दूं कि अगर आपने ये सेम एक्सप्लेनेशन हिंदी में देखनी है तो नीचे डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में दिए गए लिंक को क्लिक करें. In this video, we'll do a line-by-line explanation of the poem. We'll summarize it. And we'll also discuss the poetic devices that has been used by the poet. So let's get started. Let us first recite the poem. The snake trying. The snake trying to escape the pursuing stick with sudden curvings of thin, long body. How beautiful and graceful are his shapes. He glides through the water away from the stroke. Oh, let him go over the water into the reeds to hide without hurt. Small and green, he is harmless even to children. Along the sand he lay until observed and chased away. And now he vanishes in the ripples among the green slim reeds. So the poem is about a harmless snake. Most of us think of snakes as fearsome symbols of death. We think of snakes as something dangerous that we need to be afraid of. But the snake in this poem is itself a victim. So the poet has described a harmless snake and he has described it as a victim who is trying to escape from someone who is trying to kill it. Now we'll discuss the poem line by line and we'll also look at the poetic devices used. The snake trying to escape the pursuing stick with sudden curvings of thin long body. So the snake is trying to get away from the stick that is following it or that is chasing it. So here we know that it is not the stick that is chasing away the snake, but it is the person holding the stick who is following the snake to kill it with the stick. So what happens is when the snake is trying to escape, there are sudden curvings formed on his thin long body. Now what are these sudden curvings? When a snake tries to crawl fast, there are twists and turns formed. So these are called the sudden curvings on the thin long body of the snake. How beautiful and graceful are his shapes. So the poet admires these shapes and he says how beautiful it looks. The snake, how beautiful it looks with these sudden curvings. So here the poetic device that has been used is transferred epithet. Now what is transferred epithet? When an adjective used for a noun is actually not meant for that noun but it describes some other noun. Now let's look at the example. Here the pursuing stick. We know that the adjective pursuing is not used for the stick because it is not the stick that is pursuing the snake, but this adjective has actually been used for the person who is following the snake. So we know where to transfer this adjective, that instead of using it with stick, we know that we have to apply this adjective pursuing to the person. So the device here is transferred epithet. Another device used here is imagery. Now imagery is a poetic device where the author uses words or phrases that appeal to our senses. And we can actually visualize what the writer has written. So here when the writer writes, the sudden curvings of thin long body, we can actually imagine the snake crawling and the sudden curvings formed on his thin long body. He glides through the water away from the stroke. Now he here refers to the snake. So the snake moves smoothly into the water to escape from the blow of the stick. Oh, let him go over the water into the reeds to hide without hurt. So the poet pleads that the snake be left alone. He wants the person following the snake to let him go so that he goes into the water and he hides into the reeds without getting hurt. Now what are reeds? these plants or the grass that grows in or near water. Small and green, he is harmless even to children. So the poet says that he is small, the snake, it is small and it is green in color, and it is harmless even to children. That it doesn't say anything even to children. The poetic device used here is alliteration. Now, alliteration is when a sound is repeated in two or more words that are placed closely together. So here, he is harmless. The word he and harmless, they are placed close together and they both begin with the same consonant sound, her. So he is harmless is an example of alliteration. Along the sand he lay until observed and chased away. And now he vanishes in the ripples among the green slim reeds. So the poet says that before somebody observed the snake, before somebody noticed it and chased it away, it was simply lying on the sand. And now that somebody has seen the snake and has chased it away, it vanishes in the ripples. It disappears, it hides in the ripples. Now, what are ripples? These waves or the movement on the surface of water that is caused when something is thrown in water or when something moves in or on water. So these are called ripples. So the snake hides in the ripples among the green slim reeds. Now it goes into water and hides in water among the reeds. The poetic device used here is imagery. Now again we can actually visualize, we can picture the scene when the poet says, he vanishes in the ripples among the green slim reeds. So this is an example of imagery. Now there are no rhyming words in this poem, so there is no rhyming scheme. So this poem is a blank verse, which is also called free verse. Now let's summarize the poem. The snake described in the poem is a small, green, harmless snake. It was lying on the sand until someone came with a stick and chased it away. It then went into water and tried to hide in the reeds. The poet pleaded and wished that the snake is spared and left unhurt. The helplessness and vulnerability of the snake is described when it is trying to escape from someone who's trying to kill it. So this was about it. I hope you liked it and you understood the poem. If you have any doubt or any suggestion, please write in the comment section below. Thank you.